The ability to work faster within a builder has always been the goal for most developers. Personally, being able to work faster, improving the workflow when I'm working within any builder has always been a very high priority for me. That is why I'm very excited about this feature in Advanced Themer. A couple of days back, I made a video about Advanced Themer for Bricks Builder, and I showcased a lot of features in Advanced Themer for Bricks. In this video, I'm going to take a look at, one feature of Advanced Themer in particular, which is the builder tweaks. This alone for me is worth getting this plugin. It is a premium plugin, let me just mention that, and it does a lot of things, but this particular aspect is the aspect that I know that I'm really going to use. Why am I saying that? Because there are a couple of other aspects of this plugin that I may not use because of overlap with other plugins. For example, Advanced Themer has the ability to create your own framework. So if you're already using a framework, probably you don't need to use that feature. Okay, for example, I use ACSS. So if I use ACSS, I don't need to create my own utility classes. But then if I want to create them, I could always create them. Maybe I want to have my own custom utility where I hook in advanced CSS to it. That would be a very good use case to use it alongside the two features alongside. But in this case, I want to take a look at just the builder tweaks. I'm going to start with the one I'm most excited for, which is the element shortcut. Now, if you look at my interface, you will see some differences. And at the right-hand side of the structure panel, you're going to see icons. Here, these are shortcuts to the commonly used elements. Now, I have gone ahead to disable the ones I don't want to use. Apparently, it is not all the elements that are included, but quite a lot of them are included. Now, if you go to the back end here, I've disabled everything about Advanced Themer. You can see there are a lot of CSS variable, classes and style, everything, AI. Now, I've disabled all that. I've left only the builder tweak because I want to focus only on the builder tweaks. And then in here, you have the ability to enable the features. It is extremely granular. You can enable and disable features you don't want. So what I did was I enabled the tab shortcut. I activated the pseudo element shortcut, go to parent shortcut, lorem ipsum generator, close all open accordion by default. There's just a lot of them. We're going to go through each of them. All of these are the editor tweaks. I only enable the ones that I feel that I will really need to use. Now, so we have the disable element outline when styling borders and box shadows. If you point on the tool here, it's going to give you a tool tip, okay? And then you will see what it's all about. Change columns of the element list panel and all that. So the first one I'm going to look at is enable shortcut for creating new elements, okay? So if you come all the way down here, you can see that it is enabled. Once you enable it, you have these options, and then you could just choose the ones you want. Now, I disabled these list, social icons, icon box, and video, and I left the rest. That is why you're seeing them here. So what does this do? Okay, so I'm going to just, come here, and I want to insert a section into my document. So I just insert a section, and then I want to insert that container. I want to insert a div. I want to insert a text and a button. Everything is just right there. Can you imagine it? I insert an image, and then maybe move this image right above here. You can see how easy and fast it is to insert element. Now, just compare that with having to move your hand across or click the plus icon, do that. This is super fast. It is super fast. So I love it so much. So if I just want to add something else here, I could just, click there and add, Of course, you have to, one thing I don't like about Bricks structure panel is that you can't click anywhere to move an element. You have to move here. I really don't like that. So it's just annoying in a way, but I just wish they just fix that. I don't see any reason why I shouldn't just click here and drag. Anyway, that's just a side note. Anyway, so you could just insert whatever you want to insert quick. So you don't have to move your hands all across to this side. And if it's just very intuitive to have that. And now if you think that, it's taking away some of the space for people that have a small screen size, well, guess what? You could actually resize. This is a feature of Advanced Themer also. You can actually resize the structure panel. Not only can you resize the structure panel, you can also resize these settings panel. Okay, so there's just so much you can do with this. So if you don't have a lot of nested stuff like this, something inside here, I mean, it's very rare for you to have those kind of structure where you have a lot of nested, such that if you resize it, some things are going to be lost. So but this is cool. Now just one thing, though I would prefer for these to come out only maybe if you hover on it, I don't know, but maybe the option to toggle, to choose, do you want it to to come out when you hover on it or not. Now, I don't want something like this, you know. That means you have to go to find exactly where it is. This is very unintuitive to find exactly where it is. I don't like it, especially putting it in the middle. It would be nice to put it at the top here, something like this, okay? Because you want to find the middle, but if you go to the top corner, you just know it's at the top corner. It's very easy to find, you know, to just to move this thing in. You see how difficult it is to move it in and out, but if it is at the top corner, it's very easy. You just know it's at the top corner. It's very easy, but at the middle, it's difficult. It's not a good user experience. So if advanced team, I want to implement something like that, I would just prefer as you move your hands, you know, to the end of the screen, it just comes out and you click. Once you move it out, it slides back in. I mean, that's just you know, just my opinion. That's my take. Okay, so that's one neat feature that I love about it. So let's move on to the second one. Now this, I'm just gonna work my way up. All right, the second one is default element list columns. So you could choose the default element list columns, okay, and you can also determine how many there are right inside the builder. So let's say you want to insert an element, okay, so you have these buttons up here. You can decide that you want them, the default is 2, okay. You have the element list in 2 columns, but you can decide you want them to be 3 columns, or you can decide you want them to be 4 columns. So depending on your preference, you could just set it up and it gives you just what you need. So it makes it easy depending on, you know, the kind of user you are. Personally, I think I'm okay with the way it is, and maybe I could just make do with this. I don't think I would like to use this, okay. Maybe I would, you know, because it's really well done. It's really well done. The icons are showing properly, so I kind of like it. But for now, I'll just keep it at, you know, just the familiar stuff. Even though with these, I would rarely use this side anymore. So this is just like bye-bye to the elements panel. I really don't see what I'm going to need here to come all the way here, except I'm building maybe a WooCommerce website, and then, but for most times, using these shortcuts here will suffice. But one thing I noticed was that when you insert the elements, the section, it doesn't come with the container like the default bricks behavior. So in bricks, if I insert a section, you see it comes with a container. But here, if I insert a section, it just comes only the section. But of course, I think it doesn't. It's not a deal breaker for me because I could just do it like that, okay. But then it would be nice for it to come with the container as the default bricks, or you give us the option to choose whether you want it to come with a container or not. All right, so the next one is the dummy text. Now a lot of times, especially for someone like me who is a creator, doing tutorials, and I want to add text, you know, so a lot of times I just want to add a dummy text here, and this gives me the ability, you see, that you could choose the type of content you want. Human readable content, lorem ipsum. I think at the default is lorem ipsum, but I changed it to human readable content. And then you can see now that this is just a placeholder, and it keeps just telling you what it is, you know. And you know, the great thing about this is that it just doesn't repeat. This is just a placeholder text. We will change this out later. This is just a placeholder text. We will change it later. It just continues to, you know, to make sense, you know. This is really nice. I like it. I like it. So I can add as many text as I want, and it's just gonna keep making sense. All right, it just doesn't repeat the same thing over and over. So this is great. I love it. So if you need a placeholder text, you could just put a placeholder text. It's just not there for the heading element, but it's here for basic text. And perhaps, I'm not sure if it's available for this, okay, that is for the rich text. Okay, it probably not available for the rich text, okay, but most of the times I think I use the basic text 99% of the time, so this is fine. All right, so the next one is pseudo element shortcut. This is another of my favorite. It's gonna cut down your development time by significant amount of time. What this does is that it gives you the shortcuts to the hover, you know, and the pseudo styles. Now in bricks, when you want to add a pseudo style or a hover style, let me select this block, okay. Now you have to go here first. That's the first click the second time, the second click, hover the third click. So you have to click 3 times to access the hover styles for that particular element, and then you begin to style it. So I want the background to be that, maybe that, and then when you're done, you deactivate it. Okay, so let's say the normal background was this. So when I hover, okay, all right, so I have the hover style. When you select an element, you really don't know whether that element has an hover style or not, except you click here and then you're going to see. But now take a look at this. This is already highlighting that you have a hover style on that element, okay. You already see it here. Now, if you want to apply a hover style on an element now, so let me select this icon. All I need to do is to click once. That's all I need to do. I'm not quite sure why this drop down is here. Is it supposed to be there? I'm not sure. Let's do that again. I click once. Okay, the drop down is from my previous interaction. Okay, so I click once and then I go to background and then I just put that there. Okay, I mean, obviously that is not the settings I should use for the icon. Maybe something like this, and then I put that there. Okay, icon color. That is it. That's the hover style. Okay, and then if I just click here, and you can see that I have my hover style, okay, on the icon, and all I need to do is just to click it just once. Imagine how much time you're going to save each time you want to apply a hover style to your element, and then you have to click here 3 times versus clicking here just once. And adds an extra feature where you have this highlighted to let you know that that element has a hover style. But without this, you would not have known until you click here to see one here, and this one doesn't even tell you whether it's hover or not. Now let's go back to that place. Now what I did was I just enabled the before, after, and hover. So you have the active and focus. Most of the time I'm not going to use the active and focus in the builder. I'm not going to use that, and a lot of times if I want to use this too, it's going to be in custom CSS. That's why I didn't activate that. So for now I have just the hover, the before, and the after. So let's try the before and the after. So I have a heading here. Let me just clean out everything here. All right, okay, so I have a div. This is my div. Okay, and then I want to add a before. So I have the before. The content is going to be hello, you see, and then I want to add my after. Just click here and the content is going to be hello. Before the content, what was the content before? Let's just say before, just to make that, and then just say after. All right, so once you click out, all right, once you click it, it goes out, that's what happens. So now if you select this, you can see that it has before and after. You can see. So you click here, you have it, you click again to go out. All right, you click here, you have it, you click again to go out. Now one thing, now let me check if this does something better than the default bricks, because what the default bricks does is when you have before and after, okay, you say you have a before, and then once you click another element, this pseudo is still active. That's what I don't like about it. I want the pseudo, whatever this hover pseudo feature, to be deactivated when I move to another element. It's always there, and I don't like it. And I don't know if you like it, but that's my personal preference. I just wish that once I select another element, it's just deactivated. It just goes off like that. Let's see if this does that. Now if I click here and I select another element, okay, it's still the same thing, which I wish we could deactivate this. Just deactivate it once you move out and start working on other stuff, because sometimes you finish what you're doing and then you move to another element to start working, and then this is still there. Anyway, so that is that feature. It's very nice, useful feature. And then I'm going to quickly go to the next one that is here, okay, because we just have that go to parent. Now in a builder like Oxygen, you have the ability to select the element parent, especially if you have 2 elements. Like if I nest this inside this, and there is no way to select, you can't tell the difference between the child and the parent here. But if you look at the structure panel, you could easily tell that this is what you're selecting. But what if you want to select this and you don't want to move to the structure panel? Now there is an icon that you could just click and to select the parent, maybe in a builder like Oxygen or Breakdance. But in Bricks, you don't have that now, but this adds that icon right here. Okay, so you can keep selecting the parent. Okay, even though I think it is a neat feature, I still feel that you still have to move away all the way here. So what's the difference between moving away here and moving away here? I guess it's just a matter of distance for me. I don't know if it would have been possible to just add something, just maybe here, but it's still a nice feature to have. So you want to select the parent, you just select the parent. Okay, so that's another feature. Now let's move up. So tabs shortcut. Now you have the option to have a shortcut for your for the tabs here, for the settings tab. Okay, so if you select an element, let's say I select this container and I want to edit the content, I can come here and just go to the content. Now why is that important? Why is that neat? Because while you are inside maybe a particular area, you could just jump. Now this is layout, this is typography. While you're in typography, you could just jump to the border. Okay, now before, if you're right inside, maybe you're somewhere very deep in, you have to come maybe go out first. I mean, it's just sometimes you're not sure where you are. Okay, You have to click out first, but now it depends. No matter where you are, you could just jump to another section like the border. You could jump to transform. You could jump to CSS, you know. You don't have, if you're here, you don't have to come here first to go there. You could just from here jump to gradients, you know. So I like these shortcuts. They're really cool, and you feel they're taking up a lot of space. You could just decrease this just by the amount of space that is taken, and you still have back your room, you know, the screen room that you really need. So this is really, really cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Neat feature. Then let's go back to the next feature. So that's just for the elements, okay? So if you go to classes and style, there are other builder tweaks for classes and style. So this is style and class indicator in structure panel. This is really neat feature. Now, if you take a look at the structure panel, you're going to see this highlight here. And you have this highlight, that means there is a settings on the ID. Now, if I add a class here and just say section class, you're going to see that it shows that a class is added, okay? Now, I thought that this is going to just show only when the styles are applied, because right now this class doesn't have any style applied to it. So if I go ahead and apply a style to it, is it going to change the color? Still the same, but this shows you that this has class, okay? This has a class attached to this element and probably a styling to the class. But this shows you that you have a style on the ID. So if there is a style on the ID, you could quickly know, you don't have to go in to check, okay? So right now, if I remove this from that element, let's see, what other styles do we have here? It's still showing. Let me add a new element and just see what is going to happen, okay? So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to add a section. So sorry, save that. I'm going to add a section, okay? Oh, that's a container. Okay, let's add a section and a container. All right. So this container, I want to add a style to it, okay, on the ID. So I'm going to come here to the background and just choose black. And then I have that, but if I remove that, see, it changes, okay? So I've removed that. So there is no indicator. If I add that back, you see that indicator that shows I have a styling on the ID. I'm going to remove that. If I'm going to add another section, another container class, it gives me an indicator that I have a class on that. So either it shows you that you have a class, or it shows you that there's a styling on the class. So there's no difference. All right, so this is cool. Let me take away that class, and it, you know, that indicator is not there. So it's a neat feature to just quickly show you, look, you have a class on this element, you have a styling on the ID on this element, which is very, very nice way to know instead of coming to check, you know. Anyway, so there is another option that says count classes and navigation when selected. Now, what does this mean? It says count the class. So when you select an element that has a class, let's say this has a class, as you can see in the indicator. Now, it shows you when you select the class for that element. See, when I select this grid overlap card, it's going to show me number 5 here. So it's showing you that this class is used 5 times on the page. The beautiful thing about this is that when you click, each time you click, it loops through each of the element with that class. And once it reaches the end, it just scrolls all the way back to the first element. This is a very clean, neat feature. So it does not only show you, okay, it gives you a visual indication of the, you know, of all the elements, this blue outline you're seeing here, okay? So now if I select a class, it shows me all the elements visually. You can actually click here to loop through them. And you know the beautiful thing about this, that this even works in a loop. As you can notice, this is a loop, okay? So you see, let me close this. This is a loop builder. So this even works inside a loop, okay? So I select that, you can see that it selects all of them. And then if I click here, it keeps just scrolling through them. Beautiful, beautiful. This is a very neat feature. And then you have another one, highlight classes when selected. Of course, that happened. That is the highlighting that you're seeing here, this blue outline that you're seeing. And then you have copy ID styles to classes. This is one of the my most favorite. Now I'm going to add a section, okay? Here I'm going to add a container there. Let me just add maybe a text, okay? All right. Can I move this and drag and drop? No, I can't do that. Oh, it would be nice if I could drag and drop, but then no problem. Okay, so I have that. I want to wrap that with a block. Okay, so let's have that structure. Now, what did we want to look at? So we want to say copy as ID styles to classes. Let's say I have this block and I want to give it a margin sorry, a padding of, let's say 33.2 rem all around. Okay, and then along the way, I finished doing all the styling. I'm gonna give it a width of, let's say 80%. And then along the way, I realized, wait a minute, I should have put this in a class. I wanted to style this in a class. Now, ordinarily, you'll go ahead and start deleting all of this. Oh, okay, in Bricks, you will have to, no, you won't have to delete. So now this is the Bricks workflow. The Bricks workflow is this. You have to create a class, okay, block class, okay. After creating the class, you click again, and then you come here, copy styles, then you come here, paste styles, then you go here, then you reset the styles. How many clicks is that? So that's the process you will use in the Bricks workflow to move styles from the ID to the class, right? All right. Let's see what it's going to take to do the same thing using advanced theme as option. So I'm going to add another block, okay, in the container. I have that block, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I give it a padding of 3.2 rem, okay, all around. I give it a width of 80%, okay. Let's just say I throw in a background there, okay. And then I realized, oh, I was supposed to do this in a class. All I need to do is just click here, and then I write the class name, okay. So my class name will be block class 2, and then I save. What happens? What happens is that those styles have been moved to the class. And then if you go to the ID, it is no longer there. How many clicks did I use? Extremely faster than using the default Bricks workflow. This is gonna 10 times your development speed. If you keep using this over a period of time, you have a lot of things you're working on, and then you need to do stuff like this. This is just gonna make it easier. So let's come here, and then we have another one, plain classes. Now, plain classes is a way of adding classes to an element very quickly. So let's say we have this, and then I want to add classes. I already know all the classes I want to add to this element. Especially if you're using utility classes, you're building a component that is just maybe one on the page. Such components are things like headers, where you don't need to create a custom class for the styling, because you know throughout your website you're going to have just that one header. So it's perfectly fine to use utility classes on that header. Let's say I have a section, okay, and that section was supposed to be my header, and then I want to just add classes to it. Okay, and then I come to plain classes. Now it gives you the option to start typing your classes. Now you can dock it, you know, like that. You can dock it to the end here, you can dock it to this side, so depending, but you can just start typing the classes. So I'm just going to start typing. I don't know the classes. I don't use utility classes that much, okay, so I can't really remember, but I'm just going to just type make do classes, just, you know, fictional classes. So I'm going to say class. Oh, okay, I have those. I actually have those. Okay, so in that case, I'm just going to say bg accent, okay. So you separate by a comma, you don't put a dot, okay. And I'm gonna say border, okay, box shadow L. I'm gonna say grid 3 2. All right, I'm gonna put those classes, and then those classes are added, all of them. You see what that plain classes does, okay. It's a very neat way to quickly add classes. Now in Bricks, the default workflow is you just have to add the class and then press enter, click again, add. But plain classes just makes it very easy, okay. And if you want to remove the classes, you can just remove all of them at once. Okay, so this is very, very useful, very neat. And even if you already have a class there, if you go there, plain classes, you're still going to see that class, okay. So I can add another class. I could also reset classes and just remove all the classes from there. And then let's go to these global features. So we have the X-ray mode. Now I have disabled the ones I don't want to showcase. I said before, I made a video on these a couple of days back, so you could check my channel for the advanced theme video. I've linked it at the top right corner of the screen. So you have this feature where you can, you know, view on the front end. Now the normal Bricks workflow is that if you click here, then you're going to see this button, okay. This button is not usually visible, so that feature, this feature brings this button out here for you to see. So you don't have to click 2 times to be able to view your page on the front end, so it brings it out here. So that's what it does. And the X-ray mode is nice for just debugging a couple of things. So you see this button here is the X-ray mode. It gives you some sort of grayscale X-ray with an outline of your, your elements. It shows you the complete box model of the element, not box model per se, but the box, boundaries of the element. So if you have an overflow, or if there is something that was not very visible on the screen, you can see everything properly. All right, that's a very nice one. All right, so the general, okay, so this is just to enable the stuff. So these are all the things I want to showcase. There's a lot you could there's an option to reorder the global classes alphabetically. There are a lot of people that they have a lot of classes, they want to be able to find them alphabetically. So I'm going to just enable this because this is nice. You have autocomplete. Like I said, watch the other video, it's all of them are there. You have find and replace styles. I'm going to enable that. You have extend global classes and styles. I'm going to enable that too. And then I'm going to come here and refresh this. So let's take a look at what that does. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to add a section container, and then I just wish this came with that. And then I'm going to add a block. Now let's say I have I always like using this to insert. Maybe I have four blocks there, and then I want to add my class to it. So let's say I have a class. I'm going to call this let me just call this extend, okay, class. So I want to use that to demonstrate the extend class feature, and I want to style this background. Let's just go with a background. So that has a background, something more colorful. So that has a background. Now I want to extend these classes to all these elements, okay. So you could actually you could copy style and paste, but these, you have the option here, extend classes. Okay, so I can extend classes. I want to extend a global class, all right, and I want to extend it to the element, to the blocks, because all these are blocks. Okay, where are the elements that I want to extend it to? Where are they positioned on the same DOM level? That's the sibling. So I'm just going to extend, and then it's going to copy the class to all the elements. Now I'm going to undo that. Undoing that, just undid my extend class. Okay, that is Brick's issue. That is Brick's undo bug. Okay, that's not on advanced theme. Okay, so I have that. Okay, so let me delete that altogether. Okay, I'm gonna add another one. Just duplicate that. All right, so I'm gonna still add that extend class there. So let's go to that extend class again now. So this one says inside the same parents div. Now what I don't understand is the difference between these two. I really don't understand what this does. It says where are they positioned inside the same parents div. It seems to me like you're talking about siblings, and you say inside the same parents block. What does it mean? Is it block? Okay, inside the same parents div. Oh, so this is talking about the element. Okay, so let's try that. So it didn't work because I didn't just work. Okay, so I guess this this has you just need to understand what that does. So let's say I wrap this with a div. Okay, so I wrap with a div, and then this has, okay, so now if I come here and remove that class, so what does it do? I'm trying to figure out what it does. All right, so this has the class. So I go to extend class inside the same parents div. Okay, so if it is inside, it's inside a div, so inside the parents div. So what's the difference between that and siblings? So I don't know. How do you separate that? So if the parent, so you're saying if the parent is a div, only if the parent is a div, right? So if the parent is a div, extend it. I guess this means that if I have another, if I wrap this with a div, okay, that converts to a div. Anyway, so let me move this in here. So what does it mean? So I'm going to remove that class from here. All right, so this, okay, yeah, this doesn't have a class. So this has a class. So and then if I have that same class, let me just copy styles and paste for this first one. I think this is blocking. Okay, all right, paste that style. So I have a style here, I have a style here. Then if I go to extend this class and I say inside the same parents div and say extend, Okay, so what it does is that it even affects every element that is inside a div. So I think it's a bit complicated once, but easy if you're used to it. So you only want to extend that class if the parent is a div. Okay, if the parent is a div. Okay, so that's what it means now. So this, if the parent is a block, if the parent is a container, if the parent is a section, or on the whole page, all the elements, all the blocks, or all the div. Okay, so it's sort of confusing, but I would really like, for me, I would use this ones on the same DOM, because this is the most use case that I see. Okay, where I have, you know, an element. Okay, where I have an element, you know, maybe I insert elements, because I do that a lot, especially in my tutorials. I finish styling one, so what I do is I just delete the others and duplicate that one that I styled. But I could just go there and just click apply, because this is the default. Okay, that's the default. Okay, so I come here, apply a class, extend class, and then once I finish styling it, I just come here, click extend, and it just extends everything. Beautiful. So that's what I would use most of the time, and not these other ones, except in very rare cases where there's a lot of complicated, complex layout, and I really need to use those other ones. All right, that's really cool. And and then there is also enable, find, and replace style. So this one gives you the ability to replace any style assigned to any element inside the builder. So let's say I don't know why I would want to do that if I'm using a class. I don't know why I would want to do that. Okay, so I'm not quite sure the need for this. If you have a class, like I have a class here, well, I can just simply replace, you know, and it applies to all the elements. So I'm not sure what the search and replace does. And if you are saying that it works, it's better for things that are styled on the ID, then why would you want to style something on the ID? So that is what I have not really quite gotten. But let's see. I select this. Let's see. I go here and I apply a padding of maybe 3.2 rem. Okay, to all of them. Definitely that affects all the elements in the class. And then I go here. So I want to replace this value with this value. What property? Why would I want to do that? Elements category block. Why would I want to do that? I don't know. I don't know why I would want to do that if I am using a class. So that's the feature I couldn't quite figure out. But the others, you know, they are just very. So I'm just hoping that maybe the Maxim will, you know, throw some light on this if he is seeing this. And yep. So I think that's all I wanted to show. Okay, you have color preview and hover, class preview and hover, variable picker. There's just a lot of things. I already showed in my previous video. I don't want to extend this video for too long, but that is all. So these are the features. Okay, so you have find and replace, even here, right here also. Cool, nice. Okay, so these are the features that that are available in Advanced Themer. The latest update, I think that update is 1.0.8 or something like that. So you can see these are very minor incremental changes, and they're adding a lot of features. This sort of reminds me of what Reorder does for Oxygen, and I hope Advanced Themer is going to bring some very cool quality of life changes to the UI in Bricks. So I'm looking forward to what they have in store in future updates. Until next time, have a great day. Bye.